Yo, 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 what's good, what's good, what's good, what's good? You are not watching Juke Boy Sports Show. I am your host, Kyng Ralph. Hope everybody hope everybody's doing good out there in TV land as we get it going today. Uh thank you all for watching. Hold up. Figure out what's going on with this internet. Bring that back. Alright, cool. Let's get back to it. So, like we always do, hope everybody's doing good out there. Today's a good day. It is January 20th, Tuesday, 2026. And if you're looking for a clean, no crash, genderless energy drink, use promo code JUKE, JUK, for 20% off. They're going to get you right. They got canned pre-bevs, refreshers, energy drinks. I like the energy drink my damn self. That refresher's pretty fire too. And they got some cool merch too. But wherever you're here from, like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Subscribe on Juke Network on YouTube. Follow Juke Network as well. We're real close, getting up there, close to 100 followers. Once we get to 100 followers, I'll be able to go live straight from that page, Juke Network. If you're here from the He Say, She Say channel, go on over to Juke Network, as well as Twitch. You can follow me at Kyng Ralph, KyngrAlph, Twitch, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, at an underscore for X or Twitter. And got a lot to get into. So let's jump straight into it. NFL divisional round. I don't know why I'm having these internet problems. It's quite frustrating. I don't know why it keeps going in and out, in and out. But hey, it is what it is. We'll have to figure it out later on. I don't want to hold up too much of y'all time. So NFL divisional round was a good one. Was some good games, was some bad games, some blowouts. Some quarterbacks didn't hold up their end of the bargain, but 49ers get blitzed in the first game of the weekend. I believe it's the first weekend game of the weekend. I'm trying to remember. I know Bills and Broncos was later, was on Saturday. I do believe it was first game of the weekend. And the 49ers get blitzed. Seahawks defense was all over the place. 49ers missed George Kittle. And the defense just didn't look good as they did all year. But me, honestly, I'm not holding anything against Robert Saleh or that 49ers team and defense. I think Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh did a great job, hell of a job on the season, keeping this ship afloat. Them even beating the Eagles to get to this round is a success, in my personal opinion. Um, so I'm not going to hold this against them too much. I think in the end, they overachieved, and the Seahawks are who we thought they were. And they did not let them off the hook. RIP Danny Green, but or Dennis Green. Um, I think the Seahawks just did everything they needed to do. 49ers did not. In the end, they got blown off the field. Sam Darnold looking like he might have turned the corner. Now, can you trust him in the NFC Championship game? I'll talk about that in just a second. But the Seahawks were playing real good football and had that thing flowing and on rolling on all cylinders. And so, man, this is annoying. I can like literally see it going in and out. I hate this. Is there anything I can do about it? Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm gonna try something. All right, all right. It is what it is, man. This is what we got to deal with for today. I'll figure it out later. I think I've just been doing too much streaming, and I need to make sure I get me a hard drive. Um, but yeah, it is what it is. This is what we're stuck with. Thank you all for sticking it out. If you're still here, but miscommunication between Caleb Williams and DJ Moore um, results in a Caleb Williams interception. Bears come up short in overtime. Heck of a game, to be honest with you. Caleb Williams scrambling, running for his life, throws up a Hail Mary, 40-yard touchdown, 50-yard touchdown. I think it's like 40. 40-yard touchdown from off his back foot, finds a Cole Komet wide open in the back of the end zone. Um, some people will try to say it was offensive pass interference. Me personally, I think there was just some jostling for position there, and it ended up being where Cole Komet was able to get open. Refs don't call no flag, touchdown. Now, this is the not a hot take or unpopular opinion. Some people feel like they should take points. I think in this situation, I would go for two. Now, in earlier situations where they ended up going forward on a fourth and like two or fourth and one, they come up short, they don't get it. In that situation, I would have taken the points. I think they were down by maybe a touchdown at that point. If not, they might have been tied or up or been able to take a lead at that point, and they decided to go for two. They come up short. No, I do think they were down. They were down. I believe they were down by like 10. No, I think they were down by 7 at that point. I think it was because they ended up losing 20-17. I think they were down 10-17. And instead of going for the points, the sure thing, they go for, I mean, going for, yeah, taking the points and getting the field goal. They go for it, come up short. They end up getting a stop. Bad punt puts them in a position to where they're able to score that final touchdown. And so Bears had a hell of a season. Um, I think it's setting up where Matt Stafford is going to be able to get a Super Bowl, a second Super Bowl, and get up out of here. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win. I think it's setting up for the Rams should be able to win. And if they don't win, I'm gonna be talking bad about Matt Stafford to keep it a buck with you. And so Bills come up short. Up until this point, I think it was set up for the Bills to be able for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott, to be able to get a Super Bowl. They come up short. Josh Allen plays like crap. Um, and I'll talk about that one in a little bit. But Josh Allen plays like crap. They lose. Sean McDermott's fired, and they fall short. Broncos move on to the AFC Championship game, um, where they'll go up against the Patriots, and I'm gonna talk about that one in a minute. I feel bad for them. As much as I talk bad, as far as I don't believe in Bo Nix, I don't want anybody to get hurt. So it sucks to see broken ankle on a fluke play, fluke injury. Plants, rolls, breaks ankle, and now they're without their starting quarterback. Jarrett Stidham is going to end up getting the start in the AFC Championship game. Now, Sean Payton is supposed to be the quarterback whisperer, so maybe they got an opportunity to be able to get something out of it. But it sucks. I wish that I would have been able to see a Drake May, Bo Nix AFC Championship game. And CJ Stroud plays like complete crap. Yeah, just completely plays like complete crap. And they just weren't able to overcome how bad he was playing. When you end up having 4 interceptions after you had a 3 to 4 turnover game between fumbles and interceptions against the Steelers, it just doesn't look good for the Texans and CJ Stroud's future. You sit there and you want to go because he should be up for that big contract. He should be the next man up. But given what he's been able to do since, or not been able to do since he had a phenomenal rookie season, puts you in a position to where it's like, do I give him 50 million? And for me, I I'm gonna pick up the option, and then you got this is a show me year. You got to show me that regardless if I got the talent or not, can you overcome that and produce on the field? And so far, he's not showing that he can. Bro, this internet shit is annoying. And so, not to take too much shine off of Drake May and the Patriots, they played a good game. Defense played well. Vrabel's got that defense rolling. Offense looked okay and ended up being able. Drake May was keeping the Texans in this game to keep it a buck with you. Just didn't look the greatest. Now I get it. This is his second year. This is his first playoff run. Defense is playing really good football to where they're bailing him out. If they would have rolled up against a offense that's clicking, we would be looking at um, a different winner on a different outcome in this situation, and possibly a different team in the AFC Championship game. And so, uh, the Patriots were able to get bailed out by the defense and how bad CJ Stroud plays. If CJ Stroud has two interceptions, maybe we're talking about a different game. But when you have that many interceptions and turnovers in a playoff game, there's no way you're going to be able to set yourself up for success. And so we got a couple different hires. Dolphins end up hiring the Packers defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator for the 49ers, goes over to the Titans. John Harbaugh to the Giants. And so, who is a good hire and who is rushed? I think that John Harbaugh is a culture setter, but I fear that we could end up with a situation like Pete Carroll. As long as he gets out of his way. One thing I've noticed with NFL head coaches is they'll hire people that they are comfortable with or they know their boys, their sons, and give them opportunities, which is great. But they'll go down with the ship. John Harbaugh's issue and the Ravens' issue was when Mike McDonald was there and was getting an opportunity to be a head coach. They should have kept him in the building, give him top DC money, or just make him the head coach because John Harbaugh was not getting it done at that time either. So I think that the Giants here do not let him hire Zach Orr. If he hires Zach Orr as defensive coordinator, you're going to end up with the Ravens 2.0, where you're going to have or Pete Carroll 2.0 situation. So in the end, I think it's a good hire depending on who his coordinators are. Robert Saleh, I think the same thing. I worry that he's not getting a proven quarterback, so his offensive coordinator is going to mean the world to him. The 49ers are going to miss out on that defense. Kyle Shanahan, last time that they had Robert Saleh out of the building, the defense looked terrible, didn't look competent. He didn't have many of his major weapons that he normally would have had on that defense, and he still had them rolling. And so I think that one is a good one. The Dolphins, I just think, is rushed. Really sitting down thinking about it, the Packers defense was pretty good. And then you'll get Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons inserted to any defense is going to make a difference at the end of the day, especially when you got Rashawn Gary on one side, Edgerrin Cooper in the middle, and they were just flying all over the field. They got playmakers, so it just made it where I just don't think that he was doing such a good job that he needed this opportunity or deserved this opportunity. But I think that in the end, the Dolphins are the Dolphins, and they are who they are and where they are for a reason. So I'm not surprised by this one. I think this one is rushed. And I think that the Chiefs bringing back Eric Bieniemy is a really good hire for that team. Um, I think he's a voice that the team respected before when he was there in that locker room. Andy Reid respected him as well. For some reason, it just wasn't working out with him trying to get a head coaching position elsewhere. Um, and now he's back. And so we'll see. I think in the end, that one's going to pay big dividends for the Chiefs. Although I'm a Raider fan, so I definitely want to keep seeing them lose. And so, national championship game, Miami, number 10, Miami loses to the number one seed, undefeated Indiana gets their first victory, first national championship of the season. I mean, of their program, normally known as a basketball school. So, what their coach and Mendoza have been able to do this year has been nothing short of phenomenal. Miami put up a really good fight. The score doesn't really, and honestly, my opinion, doesn't really show how close that game was. Now, they were going back and forth in the second half, but I think that there were things that were done in the first half where Indiana was able to jump out by a 10-point, 14-point lead. And then Miami was just pretty up trying to catch up the whole game. And that was going to be my question going into it. With that Indiana defense, could Miami score points? And in the end, they did. But Carson Beck is just the hype around him a couple years ago to see where he is now. I think, given the not a lot of QB talent, I could see him going third round. But honestly, looking at everything, he's a fifth round talent at quarterback. And I would be surprised to see him go any earlier than that. But in my personal opinion, but hey, what do I know? Mendoza did his thing. I think that he showed mobility, toughness. He had a key moment. There was a particular run where he's bouncing off guys and still gets the touchdown. Made some back shoulder throws, some precision throws that give you something to be excited about as a Raider fan. And I'll get into it later as far as my thoughts as far as him being the quarterback. Um, Not that at this point we've all accepted. I've already last week I talked about how he wasn't a number one talent. Now I've accepted that he will be that number one pick, and now this is what we do with it going forward. So fast break. People need to learn to take their emotions out of their sports takes. I think too often we start looking at like how we personally feel about this person or how we personally feel about this team that we ignore things. I think Josh Allen and the bias that people have for him clouds people's judgment in talking about him. Like, for example, he throws a pass to Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks goes to the ground. Most people would have said down by contact. He had it. Ball pops out. I forget the guy's name. Broncos come up with it. Interception, Broncos football. And many people were sitting there drawing these comparisons of different catches that had it happen in different games. And by the rule, and if you're a Bears fan or a Lions fan, you know this rule because it resulted in a Lions loss and a Bears victory when Calvin Johnson was with the Lions. Once you catch the ball, if you fall to the ground while trying to retain possession, you must hit the ground and retain possession. Keep the football in your grasp. He did not do that. He lost the ball. In turn, it bounces into the Broncos guy's hands. He comes up with the football. Brandon Cooks is not the person handing the ref the football after the play is over. And ultimately, that is the interception. But people will sit there and try to be like, well, Josh Allen got robbed. Brandon Cooks got robbed. The Bills, this is why McDermott got fired. And no, McDermott got fired because Josh Allen didn't play well in this game, and they have not met expectations previously. They've had teams where they had Stephon Diggs in a top 5 defense. Now they have James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, and Josh Allen balling. And the defense is okay, but Josh Allen is able to be Superman and be able to put them in positions. And Superman found his kryptonite today, or this weekend. And so now they're out of the playoffs. And it just is what it is. And next thing up, I need people that, if you gonna be on here doing sports takes or sports media, whether it's new media, old media, ESPN or whatnot, call it straight. If you don't call it straight, call it straight. If Lamar Jackson would have had a game where he had this many turnovers, we wouldn't be sitting here trying to make up who are his receivers, or that defense didn't play well. They gave up 33 points, or these drops, or that interception that happened. The refs robbed them. I just think that call it straight across the board. Yes, last year in the beginning of the first half, Lamar Jackson did not play well. In the second half, he played lights out. That's the story. When it comes to Josh Allen, for some reason, we start making these excuses. Josh Allen gets bailed out, and I don't like that part. If that's what we're going to do, then let's just not. Let's give everybody excuses. Or if we're going to keep it harsh and keep it straight, keep it funky, hold everybody to a certain standard. But I think that we killing CJ and letting Josh Allen walk scot-free. And CJ is not a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Yes, he's a starter, so I'm going to hold him to a starter. But Josh Allen is going to be on another plateau because he is top 3 in the NFL at his position. Kevin Garnett on his podcast, KG Certified, was talking about how LeBron in year 23, 22, well into the 20s of his career. I forget how long he's been in the league for, but we should be appreciating everything that he does. Him not being a starter on the NBA All-Star team, the nigga is 41 years old. We shouldn't expect him to be a starter in the NBA All-Star game. I think at some point, appreciate what he's been able to do given his age, because this isn't something that we're not going to see a whole bunch of 41, 42-year-olds averaging 27, 6, and 6. Appreciate LeBron while you have it. And this is coming from a person that people say is a LeBron hater. Oh, they act like because I like Mike and think that Mike is the GOAT, that LeBron is trash. And I'm not saying that at all. He's just number 2 to the GOAT. And so where we're at right now, we got to be able to appreciate him, because we're not going to be able to get it for too much longer. After this, we're going to be stuck with SGA, Jokic, Giannis, and Ant-Man. Not to say stuck with like in a negative way, but there's no LeBron. Once KD is out, there ain't going to be no more KDs, even though we keep trying to find the next one. And since I talked about it, Mendoza is the guy. Fernando Mendoza is the guy. So now at this point, what do you do? And what kind of team do you build? I think that this is where, as a Raider fan, we might need to come to terms with trading Max Crosby, or the possibility of it. I don't agree with it. Me personally, I don't think that we're close enough. I just think that keeping someone like Max Crosby, who is Raider culture, Raider Nation in its embodiment, to be able to show that to Mendoza, Ginty, or Brock Bowers, and be able to build up a roster going forward. Now, at this point, it looks like we just got to trust Tom Brady, because it looks like he's going to be the one making the decisions there. So where do we go from here? I think that you solidify the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, put someone on the outside of Max Crosby, if not next to in the middle, and you build up that offensive line through free agency, see who is a top receiver, and see if you can throw them some bread. And ultimately, that's where I'm at with it. Elena, I have told you 1,000 times. I think that they got to build through free agency, hit on your draft picks, because at the end of the day, if we trade Max and get a bulk of draft picks and we don't hit on it, all of it was for nothing. And so ultimately, I think that there is some hope for us. And Tom Brady, I guess we got to trust, and Mendoza we trust, and we'll see from him. But I do think that as a Raider fan, you might have to come to terms with we might have to come off of Max Crosby in order to get to where we want to go to in the end. And so, thank you if you stuck around. I know the internet was trash today. I don't understand why. I think it has something to do with my memory on my laptop, but I do got to get up out of here. Thank you all for watching. Wherever you're here from, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Subscribe at Juke Network on YouTube. Help me get to 100 subscribers over there so we can get to the next goal. Help me get to 100 followers on Facebook, Juke Network on Facebook. If you're here from He Say, She Say channel, go on over to Juke Network, follow that page, and you'll be able to keep up all the content. Once I get to 100 followers, I will be shutting that He Say, She Say channel down and moving everything over to there. And you can follow me at KYNG RALPH. Thanks for watching, and I'm out of here. Peace, love, and chicken grease.